Uh, Chapter number 2, freehand sketching of machine components. In that we have studied first, what was that? What is the importance of freehand sketching, irrespective of having n number of tools to draw the drawing, softwares, etc. Still, we we are having this chapter in the syllabus to that we have discussed to make a rough sketch to convey the concept. If we want to draw the rough sketch, we should have the knowledge of freehand sketch. To make the more refined scale, a particular drawing is more complex, it cannot be possible to understand easily. So in that case, we can go for it's we can draw it's a simple drawing. Then to explore and communicate mental concept. If something is idea is there in your mind, you want to do something. If something idea is there in your mind, you can put on paper directly. Then freehand sketching quickly translate. Freehand sketching quickly translate the image, means if some concept is there in your mind, that concept can be transferred quickly on the paper. Then engineers often communicate via rough freehand sketches to refine and improve the design. If I have given example, you might be remembering, I have given example of Innova car. So irrespective of that Innova was liked by the customers, still they have made invention or little modification in existing model, that Innova Krista comes into market. After that, means whatever drawing is available, you can go for its modification up to the customer satisfaction. Last important thing we have seen, why this freehand sketching is important, because when we want to develop any CAD drawing, a civil engineer example we have seen, a civil engineer wants, suppose he want to build a home, or he want to go for 2D or 3D plan. So there should be a particular image in his mind. So directly we cannot start AutoCAD, we cannot start directly software and draw the drawing. That was the thing. Then we have seen thread terminology. Second part we have seen, as far as threads are concerned, certain terminologies are there which are important as per a definition, maybe in your technical interview, etc. So what was that? In that, first term is crest. First term is crest, another is root and flank. These three terms. Crest means topmost part of the thread. Root means bottommost part of the thread. It may be different for internal and external. Flank is nothing but surface. Surface of thread that we have seen. Then two important terms we have seen. One is pitch, another one is lead. What does it mean by pitch? Pitch is nothing but the horizontal distance between two TWO, two consecutive and similar point of the thread is called as pitch. On the other hand, we have seen lead. Lead, one rotation. Once we are going to rotate a nut or bolt through one complete rotation, the distance advanced by nut or bolt is called as lead. This terminology also we have seen. Then we have seen basic types of threads, or very basic types of thread, which are right hand thread and left hand thread. Right hand thread is known as RH, left hand thread is known as LH. So how to identify, if you are going to hold any nut or bolt in your hand, how to identify which is right hand and which is left hand thread? So as far as it is concerned, so how it can be identified, number one is orientation. We have seen, what does it mean by orientation? It means we have to check where that lines are passing from top to bottom direction. For top to bottom, if it is passing towards right, we have to say it is a right hand thread. If it is passing towards left, we have to say it is a left hand thread. Okay, then there is another method called as rotation method. First one is orientation of threads, another one is rotation of nut and bolt, or orientation method we can say. So simple formula we have remember here also. If at all we are going to rotate nut or bolt through clockwise rotation, if we are going to rotate nut or bolt through clockwise rotation, and if it will get advance, means in short, clockwise rotation plus advance is equal to right hand thread. Simple formula. On on the other hand, on the other hand, if we are going to rotate nut or bolt, if we are going to rotate nut or bolt Who is this Naneshwar? Please mute yourself, Naneshwar. Naneshwar. If we are going to rotate nut or bolt in anti-clockwise direction, then if it is getting advanced, then it is anti-clockwise rotation. Advance is equal to left hand thread. Clockwise rotation plus advance, right hand thread. That is the formula. Then we have seen these different types of threads. So as we discussed in this, it is required to be have in this one is angle of thread and another one is angle of thread and another one is application. So with worm thread is nothing but, so profile is given, angle is 55 degree, application is leak proof application is the for this. Then Acme thread, it is also called as ACME thread. So angle is 29 degree, bench wise is the application. So in our workshop such type of threads are available. Square thread, so here angle is 0 degree, thread angle is 0 degree, but profile of thread is perpendicular to the axis. Then application of this is screw jack is the application of these types of threads. Then V threads, or it is also called as sharp, or it is also called as sharp threads, or it is also called as metric thread. Angle is 60 degree, nut and bolt is the application. Buttress thread, one of the profile is at 45 degree and one of the profile is perpendicular to the axis. So application is, we can say, conveyor in malls. When we want to have a one directional power transmission, in that case it is used. Knuckle thread is nothing but, it is also called as plastic component thread. So mainly these threads are used for plastic components. So angle is 30 degree. So that we have seen types of threads. Then we have seen nut and bolt, types of nuts and bolt. So in this there are various types of nut and bolt. Nut and bolt is what? Types of thread. So one is having internal, another one is having external. So bolts are having external threads and nuts are having internal thread. So that symbol also we have seen. For internal thread, internal circle is complete, external thread, external circle is complete. It is as simple as this. How to remember? Nuts are having internal thread, internal circle is complete. Bolts are having external thread, external circle is complete. So types of nut, these many types are there. So first one is hexagonal nut. So in this, hexagonal nut is bounded by hexagonal periphery. Okay, hexagonal nuts are bounded by hexagonal periphery. In this we have seen different points in this, which how much is this distance, how much is this, maybe how much is width across flat for this nut, width across flat for this nut, and width across corner, width across corner. Even this we have seen width across corner. So if you are remembering, so thickness of this bolt is equal to T is equal to D. Thickness is equal to T is equal to D. Then this dimension we have seen 1.5 D plus 3. So width across flat and width across corner, important terms. These important terms we have seen 2D, 1.5 plus D. Similar here also, square nut same. Instead of hexagonal boundary, it will be bounded by square periphery. So here also same terminology. Thickness is equal to T is equal to D, and width across corner and width across flat same. Then flanged nut. If nut is having washer at its bottom, it is called as flanged nut. So this nut will avoid use of washer. So simple type, it is a hexagonal nut only. Only at the bottom there is a washer. That is the specialty of this nut. Then dome nut and cap nut. These two types of nut. What is the specialty of these two types of nut? So these types of nuts will not allow end of bolt to come outside the nut to avoid the injury to the operator. If these nuts are in a always moving position, so it will avoid coming out of bolt or nut uh, coming out of bolt end outside the nut. That is the importance. Then wing nut, when wing nut will come into picture, so you have to remember wing nut frequent adjustment. So this sentence you have to remember. What does it mean by wing nut? Wing nut frequent adjustment. When we want to be have frequent adjustment in our assembly, when we want to have a frequent adjustment in a assembly, then it is called as wing nut. So famous example to use wing nut is hacksaw. A famous example of this wing nut is hacksaw. Okay, then capstan nut. So once capstan nut will come into picture, you have to remember, as this nut is having holes on its periphery, so you have to remember this type of nut is used to drill holes on periphery, because this nut is having holes on its periphery. Okay, then ring nut. Another name of ring nut is retaining nut. It will hold the particular part on its position. So in bicycle, near the handle and pedal, at both places this type of nut is used to hold the particular component on its position. So at the place of pedal also this type of nut is there, called as a ring nut. Castle nut. So two types of nut are there. One is castle, another one is lock nut. So what does it mean by castle? Another one is lock nut. So what does it mean by castle? Castle nut is nothing but whenever there are frequent vibrations or our particular component is suffering or having a lot of vibrations. In that case, these two types of nuts are used. One is castle nut, another one is lock nut. So what does it mean by castle nut? So it is nothing but it is having slots on its periphery or one end, and a split pin. A split pin is used. So here it is there. Split pin is used. Where this split pin in actual component? Here it is split pin. So this split pin is used to coming out of nut from the bolt. It is called as castle nut. Then lock nut. So what you have to remember in case of lock nut? One bolt, two nuts. So nut number one, nut number two. So whenever there is one bolt and two nuts are used on same bolt, then it is called as lock nut. So you can remember same is here. Same concept is apply here also. Same concept we can say. Two nuts on single bolt, only one bolt. So example we have seen mirrors of two-wheeler. So once our two-wheeler is moving, its handle or lot of vibrations are coming, and to fix or to tight the mirror with its handle, lock nut is used. And last one nut we have seen as a knurling nut. What does it mean by knurling nut? It is having knurling on its periphery. So in BIS convention, maybe day after tomorrow, I will take revision of BIS convention. So what does it mean by knurling nut? It is having knurling on its periphery. So two types of knurling is there. One is parallel or straight knurling and diamond knurling. So out of that, a cross structure is there. It is called as diamond. So first nut is there as a diamond. So I will write only D. And another nut, it is called as straight knurling. I will write yes, straight knurling and diamond knurling, like this. So then after we have seen types of bolts. Okay, so what are the different types of bolts? As far as nut we have seen many more types. In thereafter we have seen bolts. Then first square headed bolt. If if head of bolt is something like this square, then it is called as square nut. Okay, so availability of space, very limited space is there, in that case this type of nut is used. Okay, and what does mean by hexagonal headed nut? Hexagonal headed nut, hexagonal head, so that is as simple as this square headed nut. So bolts are mainly classified into, one is head, another one is shank. So square headed bolt, hexagonal headed bolt, T-headed bolt. It is used mainly with milling machine. So whenever there are slots in a machine, means like this. Like these slots are there, slots. So what does it, like this solid part? I will little go for hatching like this. So this part is hollow one. So what can be done? So this nut directly it is taken and it is placed here, something like this, T, inverted T. So this will be something like inverted T. Inverted T. So these type of nuts are something like inverted T. That's why it is called as T-headed bolt. It is used in milling machine. So once we will be back to the college, so many more machines are there whose bed is having something like this T-slotted. So in our machine tool processes, one subject is there next semester. So in that subject, you are going to see different types of machines. In that, you will come to know that what is this T-headed slots. Such slots are there. Then cup-headed bolt. Cup-headed bolt, limitation of space. Whenever there is a limited space, then this type of nuts, this type of bolts are used. So example is benches. On benches, such cup-headed bolts are used. Then rack foundation bolt and eye foundation bolt. So as the name is foundation bolt, these bolts are used to fix the machine with their foundation. One is a rack, another one is eye foundation bolt. So you can remember, so to fix the machine with their foundation, these types of nuts are used. Okay, and what is the working principle of rack foundation bolt? On its edges there are serrations. Serrations means unchaute. So if you will see this total diagram is of bolt. So whatever this large diagram you are observing, little bigger, this is of combination of machine part, nut, bolt, washer, etc. So on its edges there are serrations, and this bolt is fixed into concrete. So once machine will be fixed with their foundation, it will not come outside the foundation easily. That's why it is called as a rag foundation bolt. And another one is eye foundation bolt. So one of the end of bolt is one of the end of bolt is one of the end of bolt is uh, is converted into eye shape. Okay, and cross rod is used. Cross rod is used to fix the machine with their foundation. Likewise, okay. So it is called as eye foundation bolt. Then stud, the name of stud, or it is also called as simple headless bolt. This type of bolt don't have head. That's why it is called as headless bolt. It is also called as headless bolt. Okay. Then Washer. So we have seen what does it mean by washer, or where we are using this washer. Washer. So main purpose of washer is to increase the contact area between clamping parts. Number one. So as far as technically we should remember what is the, it will increase area, it will decrease its stress, as sigma is equal to P by A. Once area is going to increase, stress is going to decrease. Number one. Number two, it will help for tight fitting between two parts. Okay. Then we have seen riveted joint. Before that, we have seen types of rivets. Which are the different types of rivets? So, and what is its function, and how these are classified? We can say. So mainly, as like bolts, these rivets are also classified into head and shank. So if you'll see, in all cases, shank is same. Shank is same in all cases like this. Shank is same. Only this head is different. This head is different. Okay, in all cases. So as per as different heads are concerned, head of rivets, different types of rivets are there. So which are they? Different types of rivets. So first one is snap head, high button head, pan head, cone head, etc. So these types are there. Actually, these are not important, but we have to see riveted joint. In that, a round top countersunk head, flush countersunk head, flat head, truss head, etc. So as far as this is important as far as our syllabus is concerned. Types of riveted joint. Which are the different types of riveted joint? In that, first one is lap joint and butt joint. So as we discussed in this chapter, types of riveted joint, lap and butt. Lap plates are going to be overlap each other. Number one, lap joint and butt joint. These plates will be kept in front of each other. So then we have seen, as when plates will be kept overlap to each other, when the plates are thin. When plates are thin, then lap joint is used. On the other hand, when plates are thick, butt joint is used. So this also we have seen. So what is this lap joint? First one is, now suppose there is one plate, another plate will be like this, it will be overlap. Now what is done in butt joint? Only there is one plate, another plate, like this. Two plates are kept in front of each other, just. So this line is very important once you are going to draw. So we should know two plates are kept in front of each other. So this joint is very important. Okay. Then different types of lap and butt joints are there. What are the different types of lap and butt joint? Out of that, first one is single riveted lap joint. Single riveted lap joint. So we have to break this name. So we have to check, is it the type of lap joint and or butt joint? So as it is a type of lap joint, plates are overlapped each other. You can see here. So as it is a type of lap joint, plates are overlapped here. Okay. Plate number one, plate number two. What does it mean by single riveted? Single riveted is nothing but there is one row of rivet in each plate. So as the plates are overlapped, that row of rivet will be common. That is as simple as this. Then double riveted lap joint. Again we have to see, is it the type of lap or butt? So as it is a type of lap joint, then double riveted. What does it mean by double riveted? Double riveted is nothing but two rows of rivets in each plate. That is the another. Then double riveted zigzag lap joint. Zigzag means alternate or Z shape. Zigzag means alternate or Z shape. So what is this in this case? What does it mean by double riveted zigzag lap joint? There are two plates which are overlapping to each other, and and two rows of rivets are alternate in shape. Means there is one rivet in between two. If you consider, so if you want to see these, there are these two rivets. So in between this there is third. Similarly, there is like these two rivets. In between these two there is another, like this alternate or in between. That is the importance of double riveted zigzag lap joint. Then butt joint. Then butt joint. What does it mean by butt joint? Two plates are kept in front of each other. It is nothing but butt joint. Okay. In this again different types are there. Number one, single riveted single strap butt joint. Single riveted single strap butt joint. What does it mean by butt? Butt is nothing but in front of each other. What does it mean by single strap? So if you'll see actually working principle of this, if you'll see actual working principle of this, you will come to know that in butt joint plates are just kept in front of each other like this. So actually it is not possible to join this. So third, we have to select or we have to use third plate. We have to use third plate in this way. Maybe I will go for hedging something like this. Third plate. Unless and until we will not use third plate, butt joint is not possible. Why? Why? Because once we are going to use two plates in front of each other, by using only two plates in front of each other, it is not possible. So that's why third plate is used. It is called as strap or cover plate. So it is called as strap or cover plate. Okay, then single riveted double strap butt joint. Then next type is there, single riveted double strap butt joint. So butt joint is nothing but in front of each other. Two plates are placed in front of each other. Double strap means two straps will be used. Instead of one, you can use one. One is from the top, another one is from the bottom. And what does it mean by single riveted? Again, single riveted is nothing but there is a single row of rivet in each plate. So that is the importance. Then double riveted double strap butt joint. What does it mean by double riveted double strap butt joint? Butt joint plates are kept in front of each other. Double strap, there are two straps. One is from the top, one is from the bottom. And double riveted means what? There are two rows of rivets in each plate. That is the importance of double riveted. So that we have seen. So what does it mean by lap and butt? Lap plates are overlapping to each other. It is used for thin plate, THIN. What does it mean by butt joint? Plates are kept in front of each other. Plates are kept in front of each other, and it is used for thick plate. That is the importance. Then we have seen classification of keys, or what does it mean by key? So when key, this word will come into picture. So what is the definition? So what is the definition of this? RRM, you have to remember. RRM. So when this word will come into picture, so you have to remember this word RRM. What is the long form? RRM. Many times I have explained this.
Relative rotary motion.
Correct. Relative rotary motion. Very good. RRM. Relative rotary motion. So that sentence you can form. It is a mechanical element which is used to avoid or to prevent relative rotary motion between which two parts? One is shaft, another one is mounting. One is shaft. So you can You can see here shaft and any mounting. So there will be one shaft. Okay, shaft, and its mounting means what? Something mounted on this gear. If something is there, something like this, maybe like this, something is mounted. If this shaft is going to be rotated in this way, suppose with certain RPM, it is expected that this mounting, maybe gear, pulley, flange, etc., it should also be it should also rotate with same speed. When it is possible, once we are going to use here key, once then and then only it is possible to rotate both these parts with equal RPM. Then it will, that's why the definition of key is what? It is a mechanical element which is used to avoid or to prevent relative rotary motion between what? One is shaft, and another one is mounting. I will say two. These two parts, one and two. One is shaft, another one is mounting. In between these two parts, when we want to avoid relative rotary motion, then keys are used. Then we have seen different types of keys. So what are the different types of keys? So out of that, one is saddle, another one is sunk, and a third one is round key. So this also we have seen. Saddle. So as far as machine drawing is concerned, what does it mean by saddle? Saddle means just kept on the shaft. As simple as this. It is just kept on the shaft. Saddle. What does it mean by sunk? Sunk is nothing but interpenetrated into the shaft. So these types of keys. So actually keys are nothing but something like duster. So what the way we are using in classrooms to clean the blackboard or green board, something like that. These are there. So saddle just kept on the shaft, sunk interpenetrated into the shaft, round it is nothing but on its structure, or we can say shape, round shape. Okay. First, again there are two types of keys, two types of saddle keys. One is flat, another one is hollow. So one is flat. Flat means why it is called a flat? Its bottom is flat. That's what is called as flat saddle key. So you can remember. So what the way, how it is touching. So this cross sectional area is shown. Simple. So its bottom surface is touching to the shaft is something like this flat saddle key, and it is just kept. You can see here also as well. So here also side view, just kept on the shaft. So where is this key? It is here. Okay. And where is this flat saddle key? Here. It is here. Like this. So these many different locations are there. Other things are which? Number one is shaft, another one is flange. Flange is there. So you can see here. So this is shaft. Shaft. Okay. No. Shaft, and this is flange. Either you can write flange or mounting. You can draw gear also, no problem. Basic principle should get complete. Flange and shaft. Okay. Then hollow saddle key. Why it is called hollow? Its bottom is something like concave shape. So this bottom is something like concave. That's why it is called. That's why it is called as hollow saddle key. That's why it is called as hollow saddle key. Again, it is a type of saddle key. It is just kept on the shaft. If you see earlier key, so this, if you highlight or if you give concentration on this part, so you will come to know that here there is one dotted line in between key, and here there is no dotted line in between key. Okay. Why? Because it is sorry, not here. So here there is no dotted line, keep in mind. So in this key there is no dotted line because it is along with the surface, and here there is a little away from the surface. That's why it is called as, or a hollow. That's why here it is, that dotted line indicate the edge of shaft. Okay. Then sunk key we have seen. Sorry. Sunk key. So sunk means interpenetration, that we have seen. What does it mean by sunk? Sunk keys. What does it mean by sunk key? Sunk key is nothing but these are the keys which are interpenetrated into the shaft. It is called as sunk key. In that again, first one is taper. So it is tapered one. That's what is called a taper sunk key. So you can see here also. So 50% key, as it is a type. So this part you can remember this. So it is interpenetrated into the shaft. A little part of key is inside the shaft. So earlier there was not such case. So here you can remember it was not there. Here also it was not there. Okay, it was just kept on the shaft. That's why it was the example of saddle key. Okay, saddle flat that we have seen. Then parallel sanka key. It is a parallel, and it is interpenetrated. It is interpenetrated. It is interpenetrated into the shaft. That's why it is called as parallel sanka key. Okay. Then jib-headed key. GIB. What does it mean by jib? It is a projected part which is used. It is a project. It is a projected part which is used to remove the key from the assembly. We can say that's why this part is known as jib-headed key. Okay, so this part is jib-headed key. It is called a jib. So it is used to use take part out of the key. Okay, it is example of again sunk key. Okay, woodruff key, again it is a semicircular key which is used to connect the flange and shaft, something like this. Round key, shape, depending upon shape only, it may be tapered or flat, no problem. So round key, its a shape is something flat, or we can say round. That's why it is called as. So here you can remember simple type of key, round key, which are used to avoid RRM, relative rotary motion, between whom one is shaft, another one is mounting. Then we have seen coupling. Couple means two. What does it mean by coupling? What does it mean by coupling? Coupling is used. It is a mechanical component which is used to connect two shafts. TWO. It is simple. That's why it is called as coupling. What is it? So you can remember coupling two shafts. So how to remember? So in your technical interview, TI, it will be used. Okay, coupling two shafts. You can remember for your information. What does it mean by coupling? Coupling is nothing but two shafts. Like this. Couplings, two shafts. Okay. So shaft couplings are used to join or connect two shafts in which when they will joined together, they will act as a one unit. That is as simple as definition. Then rigid, flexible, loose, non-aligned. These are the example. Which are they? One is rigid, another one is flexible, another one is loose and non-aligned. These are the examples of such type of couplings. Okay. So what does it mean by rigid? Why it is called as rigid? So in your applied mechanics, you have seen example of rigid body. The body which will not get deformed. It is called as rigid. So what is meant by rigid? Rigid, why it is called rigid? Because because once power transmission will be there from one shaft to another shaft, it will not allow any misalignment or any deformation, we can say. It is called that's why it is called rigid coupling. That's why it is called as rigid coupling. Flexible, why it is called flexible? Because it will allow a little variation between shaft movement. That's why it is called as flexible. Loose or disengaging, we can disassemble. That's why it is called as a disassemble coupling. And non-aligned shafts are at any direction. That's why it is called as non-aligned. Firstly, the rigid coupling is of these many types. One is sleeve or mup. In our winter season, many people are just going with muffler. We are saying muffler. Muff means cover. We are covering our ears and maybe sometime head to prevent from the winter. Okay, muffler, you can remember. Muff means cover, or sleeve means also cover. Muffler or sleeve, you can remember cover. So rigid coupling is of mainly two types. One is muff, another one is flanged. Okay, in that muff coupling is again divided into this different types. So as we seen, what does it mean by butt muff coupling? Number one, butt. What we have seen meaning of butt in machine drawing? What is the meaning of butt? B double T. Anybody? Meaning of butt? Huh? But huh?
समोरासमोर.
Correct. In front of each other. Simple. But means in front of each other. So shafts are placed in front of each other. Number one. So where is that? Here there is shaft number one. Here there is shaft number two. These two shafts are placed in front of each other and a key is used. So here there is key. Key. I will write K, and this is cover or mop. I will write here like this, cover. Means two shafts are placed. So this 2D diagram is important as far as our university exam. It will be asked in university exam. Draw freehand sketching of butt mop coupling. So this diagram is important. So here 2D. This animation, etc. It is for just for our information. Okay, actually it is not flanged. It is a animation of flanged coupling. So still for remembering, I have kept here. Then half lap. So again this word comes in machine drawing again and again. Lap. What does it mean by lap? Overlapping to each other. Two shafts are overlapping each other. Is it the case? Shaft number one, shaft number two are overlapping each other. In what way? Here there is shaft number one, shaft number two. Half end of the part will get overlapped. Half end of the shaft will get overlapped with another end. That's why it is called as half lap. And what does it mean by mop? Again it is covered. Again it is covered. That's why it is called as half lap mop coupling. So my simple question, whether key is used in this case, half lap mop coupling? Whether key is used? Yes, no? Whether key is used? Anybody?
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
Yes,
key
sir.
is used. So here there is a key. So key is used for joining the shaft, or same I will show here also. So here also key is used. So it is called as key. Half lap mop coupling. Split. The cover or mop is split into two half. That's why it is called as half lap mop coupling. If you are able to see, so top side half part is something like yellow colored, and bottom half part is something like red colored, and it is used to join by using nut bolt arrangement. Okay, so split mop coupling. So here there is nut and bolt. Then Flanged coupling. So we have seen what is the flange. So what does it mean by flanged coupling? Flanged coupling. So mainly there are two types. One is protected and unprotected. So both are the types of flanged coupling. On a shaft, these flanges are mounted. So one is protected, another one is unprotected. So why it is called unprotected? Because simply you have to remember why it is called unprotected. Nut and bolts are not covered. That's why it is called as unprotected. So you can see here. So this much part. So nut bolts are not covered. It is open to expose, or it is exposed open. That's why it is called as unprotected. On the other hand, protected flanged coupling. So you can see this diagram. So these are protected. These are covered. Once you are going to see from the top view, you cannot see. You cannot see its nut and bolt. Also here, suppose you want to see here, if you are going to see from the top view of this top view, so you will see this nut and bolt, this and this, but it is not the case in this. It is not the case here. Okay, that we have seen solid flanged coupling. Solid flanged coupling. What does it mean by solid flanged coupling? Solid flanged coupling. The end of shaft itself is converted into flange. That's why this solid name came into picture. Keep in mind. Why it is called solid? Solid in the case here. Why this word is used to solid? Something like uniform. We can say uniform or inbuilt. Means shaft itself is converted into flange. So flange is not mounted on the shaft, but end of the shaft is forged. Forging operation. On that day I have told which is the forging operation. Forging is nothing but lohar kam. By making it red hot, it is converted into solid flanged coupling. Okay, or flanged coupling. Okay. Then flexible coupling. So it is a type of simple coupling, flanged coupling. How it becomes flexible? When two flanges are connected with each other, nut bolts are used. And around the periphery of that nut bolt, such rubber cushions etc. used, so that it will allow a little variation or a little misalignment between shafts. That's why it is called as flexible coupling. Keep in mind. That's what it is called as flexible coupling. Then quarter joint. Famous example. Quarter joint. So what is meant by quarter joint? It is also called as quarter pin. Or another name of this joint is also called as socket and spigot joint. So it may not be possible to read this socket and spigot joint. So here it is, name is there. Possibly you can read what is meant by socket and spigot joint. Another name is quarter joint. So what is the working principle in this? One end of shaft is converted into socket. Another end is converted into spigot, and it is fixed into each other. So what is the working principle? So this end of is inserted into this socket, and then this pin is inserted like this. Okay, so what is the example, practical example we have seen for quarter joint? Anybody is remembering quarter joint? Anybody is remembering quarter joint? We have discussed this.
In
Quarter,
bicycle pedal.
very good. Bicycle pedal means once that pedal is fixed to shaft of bicycle, it is fixed and then quarter pin is inserted. Then quarter pin. So for trolley, not this quarter, this knuckle joint is used. Shubham Shingan. So this knuckle joint is used So what is this knuckle joint, or it is also called as pin joint? What is this working principle of knuckle or pin joint? One end of shaft is converted into fork end, tuning fork end. So in physics you are knowing that tuning fork. One end is converted into fork end, another one is converted into I, and then pin is inserted. It is called as pin. Only three elements are important. One is fork, another one is I, and another one is pin. These three ends. So in tractors, this knuckle joint is used. In case of tractor, this knuckle joint is used. Famous example. So this also you can remember. So when we want to join trailers of tractor, so this knuckle joint or pin joint is used. Then non-aligned coupling. So this disengaging or non-aligned coupling. So which is this non-aligned or what is happening? Universal or non-aligned coupling. Two shafts, both the ends of shafts are converted. Both the ends of both the ends are converted into both the ends of shafts are converted into tuning fork end. So you can remember both the ends are converted into tuning fork end. Okay. And power is transmitted. So why it is called as universal coupling or Hooke's joint? Because any alignment of shaft it can allow. Any alignment of the shaft it can allow. That's why it is called as universal coupling, or it is called as universal coupling or Hooke's joint. And then Oldham coupling. So what is once Oldham coupling will come into picture, you have to remember two shafts at a certain distance. So shaft number one, two parallel shafts having certain distance between them. See here, what is meant by Oldham coupling? When there are two shafts, but they are having certain distance between them, then in that case, these couplings are used. So what is the working principle of this Oldham coupling? There are two circular discs are mounted on each plate, or we can say flanges having slot. So there are two shafts, shaft number one, shaft number two, which are parallel but having certain distance between them. So if you say center line, if you draw center line, it will not be unique one, it will be different, having certain distance between them. So one disc is mounted in one shaft, I will write D1. Okay, here I will write D2, two discs, and central plate. So this central plate, CP, I will write CP, central plate is used. So if you will see, just check, is it possible to see the animation? You can see carefully how it is. So two shafts are passing, two shafts are parallel to each other at a certain distance, and there is a central disc in between. As shafts are moving, these discs are just sliding top and bottom. So one care we have to take while keeping shafts in front of each other, two slots should not be parallel, should be perpendicular. So you can try to remember how shafts are passing. Okay. Then bearing. In BIS conventions, we have seen bearing. So what is the bearing? Bearing is nothing but these are the mechanical elements which are used to give support to the shaft. Support to the shaft. This is the important function of bearing. Support. Once we want to give support to the shaft, bearings are used. Also to give stability, free and smooth rotation, etc. So mainly there are two types of bearing. One is sliding contact and rolling contact. So only first one type is there, solid journal bearing. So this why it is called solid journal. So journal, why it is called a journal. So this you have to remember. Huh? So whatever you are writing journal and assignment, it is different. And this journal is different. Journal is nothing but part of shaft inside the bearing. So this word you have to remember. Huh? Why it is part of shaft. I will write part of shaft inside bearing is called journal. Part of shaft inside bearing is called a journal. So hereafter you have to remember. Hereafter you have to remember. Part of shaft inside bearing is called a journal. So why it is called solid journal? Why it is called solid journal? It is unique one. No any other component is used. That's why it is called as solid journal bearing. That's what is called as solid. On the other hand, one more is there. Bushed journal bearing. So bush, bush. So this word also will come many times in your contact. This bush, what is, where is this bush? So what is the difference inside? So there will be shaft, so like this solid journal bearing. So this hole, in this hole there will be shaft is going to fit. So in solid journal bearing, bush is not used. In solid journal bearing, bush is not used. In bushed journal bearing, bush is used to avoid the wear and tear of the bearing. That is the basic difference between solid journal bearing and bushed journal bearing. Otherwise, these are one and the same. Both are one and the same. What is the change? Only in case of solid journal bearing, bush is not used. In bushed journal bearing, bush is used. What is meant by journal? Journal is nothing but once this shaft is placed into the bearing, the part of shaft inside the bearing is called a journal. So that also you have to keep in mind. Part of shaft inside the bearing is called as journal. Then plumber block. So in our assembly and details, this is the biggest diagram, plumber block or pedestal bearing. So what is the speciality of this plumber block? Speciality of plumber block is nothing but it can be disassembled. We can assemble or disassemble, we can say. Either you can assemble or we can disassemble. By nut bolt arrangement is there, nut bolt. That's why it can be removed. It can be removed from the. It can be removed. Okay. That's why it is called as. Simple. You can remember. Nut bolts are used in plumber block. So here there is no question of. So here there is no question of nut bolt. So nut bolts are used in plumber block. Okay. Next one is footstep bearing. So speciality of this uh, footstep bearing is what? In this case, shaft is vertical, number one. And second speciality of footstep bearing is shaft is going to end. Shaft is going to end into the bearing. That is the speciality of this footstep bearing. Okay. What is the speciality of this footstep bearing? Shaft is vertical and shaft is going to end into this bearing. Also bush is used. So this is block or we can say body. Either you can say block or you can say body. Body, something like this. Okay. Then, sorry. Types of pulleys. Pulleys in basic mechanical engineering, you might have seen flat belt pulley. So when distance between shaft is more, flat belt pulley, fee belt pulley. So you can see simple diagram. So this diagram you have to remember. Okay, these are the pulleys. Okay, pulleys. Then V belt pulley. So simple pulley, another one. So what is this? You can see simple V belt pulley. Every distance is as compared to flat belt pulley. If distance is less, in that case, flat belt pulley is used. Then speed cone pulley is of two types. Why it is called a speed cone? So in first term, maybe in graphics you have seen. So if there is cone, this cone is there, front view I will draw. If you will cut this from this, it is called as frustum. Means frustum may be something like this. It may be something like this. That speed cone pulley is for flat belt. Why it is called? To get different speed. If now in this diagram, belt is there on lowest diameter. So if so, what will happen on the speed? This is condition one. Belt is there on the lowest. We can say diameter. And if I will keep this belt on here, so in which case RPM will be more? We will tell. Case number one, belt is on lowest pulley. Belt. Case number two, belt is on highest diameter. One is lowest diameter, another one is highest diameter. In which case RPM will be more, lowest or this highest?
Lowest.
Lowest. So in this case we can say RPM will be highest in the speed cone pulley. So it is also to get different speed. To get different speed, this pulley is used again. Similar to this only. It is also something like cone. How it is cone? So this something like cone, like this. Okay. So diameter 1, diameter 2, diameter 3. Means here diameter 1, diameter 2, diameter 3, diameter 4. Likewise. Once you want to change, so such type of pulleys are available in our workshop. So you can see that also. Then fast and loose pulley. Fast and loose pulley. So what is this? So you remember. So whether you have seen engine crane on wheel, fast and loose pulley. So mechanism I will tell. What is the mechanism of this fast and loose pulley? So there is one shaft. So you can tell me. There is one shaft on which two pulleys are mounted. One is like this. Pulley number 1. So due to space, I will draw little small diagram. Another pulley, maybe like this. Suppose two pulleys are mounted. Pulley number 1, pulley number 2. One is fixed with the help of key. So here key is used to fix this pulley. Key. So I will write here K. And here bearing is used. Bearing. So what is this fast and loose pulley? Fast and loose pulley. What is the mechanism of this? So in one is fixed with the help of key, another fixed with the help of bearing. Means once a belt will come on first. Suppose belt is there on this. Okay. So what will happen? Whatever speed of shaft is there, with same speed, this pulley will get rotated. Or whatever speed of pulley is there, with that only the shaft will get rotated. So it is not the case. So once we are going to fix shaft here, belt here, if at all pulley is going to rotate, shaft will not rotate. That's why it is called as loose pulley. And the key, the pulley which is fixed with the help of this key, it is called as fast key. Fast key fixed with the shaft. And loose pulley, it is fixed with the help of bearing. That you can remember. Fast pulley is fixed with the help of key, and loose pulley is fixed with the help of bearing. Okay. So what is the importance? Once it is fixed with the help of key, it will rotate with same speed as the shaft. And bearing, if at all pulley will rotate, shaft will not rotate. So in case of engine crane, you try to see this engine crane, when there is idling position, means we don't want the bucket of that crane, stone, etc. to come outside. What we are doing, that operator is just shifting that lever, that belt onto the loose pulley. When he want to have that bucket should come outside the well, he just moving that shaft, that belt on the fast pulley. So that is the example of fast and loose pulley. Okay. So this type of socket and spigot pipe joint you might have seen everywhere. Okay. Socket and spigot type pipe joint, as we have seen. Socket and spigot joint or quarter joint. One end is converted into socket, another one is spigot. So key is not used. So where is the we can say socket, and this is spigot. This is spigot. Okay, socket and spigot. Then probable last point from this chapter, standard pipe fitting. So what is the standard pipe fittings? Means once we are going for piping in our farm, etc., which are the components are used, or which components are used in our day-to-day life. So that components are called as standard pipe fitting. Okay. So T joint. So this T, when we want to have branching to our pipe, means when this T is used, anybody is knowing when T is used? When T is used? Anybody? T in pipeline when it hmm?
तीन पाईप एका ठिकाणी जोडण्यासाठी.
Okay, three pipes, or we can say in general, when we want to have new connection, means we want to have a branching. When we want to increase branching, so this diagram is here. Here it is T. So this diagram you have to remember. Branching means there is pipeline. Suppose like this pipeline is there, and you want to have one end here also. So you can cut here. You can cut here pipeline, and you can use this T. You can use this T, and you can have a one pipeline. So your pipeline is like this. Still you want to have one here, we can say one end. Then elbow and bend. So actually bend is not shown here. So this is elbow. So diagram I will show. Elbow and bend. So these are two. So what is the use of elbow and bend? When we want to turn our pipeline through 90 degree, that is the function of elbow and bend. So question may arise. What is the use of this elbow and bend? So elbow, exact 90 degree, keep in mind, exact 90 degree. Exact 90 degrees elbow will join two pipes exact at 90 degree. And what is the bend? Greater than 90 degree. This will join a greater than 90 degree. Greater. Okay. Bend will join greater than 90. Then socket joint. Socket, why we are using socket? Socket and reducing end. These are the different types. Socket and reducing end. Socket, it is used to join two similar diameter pipes. It is called as socket. Socket is used to join two similar point. And what is meant by reducing end or reducing socket? Reducing socket is nothing but two different pipes. So what is the difference between simple socket or coupler? It is also called as coupler. Coupler or socket, similar pipe diameters. And what does it mean by reducing socket? Reducing socket, different diameters it is used. Okay. And last part is plug. When we want to stop a pipeline, means suppose we want to stop the pipeline, then in that case this plug is used. Plug, or we can say it is a cup, cap. It is also called as Okay, it is also called as cap. Means veins.